Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous to post this because, yeah. And so for the second cycle, he would just kind of send me stuff in the DMs and stuff. And for some reason, I felt like it was meant because it was like I didn't respond to anybody. Everybody else was messaging me. I went to his page. I observed a lot. This was my thoughts on thinking that I was healed. I'm going to observe him. I'm going to know this next person. And he wasn't necessarily my type. He was a little bit shorter than I usually go for. And he was a little bit older. He would send me text messages and be like, come warm my bed. Now I know that was from Game of Thrones, which he told me later on in the relationship. When we would get into it, I would be like, I want you to be like you used to be. And he was like, I got that from Game of Thrones. Really thought he was stable. He had a little 1-bedroom apartment. It was in the hood, but he had custody of his daughter. He was very, very eager to let me meet his mom. Like at that time, I thought that he was stable. I thought he had a job, but later on in the relationship, he did tell me that he used to have me go home early in the morning and pretend like he was going to work, and he would really go to Starbucks and come back home, and he didn't have a job at the time. But at the time, I thought that, he was just stable, and he really, he used to cook for me and just do all of this sweet stuff that I wasn't used to from my prior relationship. Then I find out that I'm pregnant. I would hear him in the living room telling his brother, like, she gonna be a millionaire, dog. Like, this is really, you know what I'm saying? He went from saying that he didn't believe in marriage at all to telling me that, I'm somebody that he would want to marry. It was just, for me, more of a healthy place and a healthy relationship than what I was in. And then it was so available. We were with each other every day. I got pregnant. I never had gotten pregnant before, and I'm just like, this is God. So I end up finding somebody to take over my apartment, not in full because I still did do hair there, but I had her pay half of the rent, and then I was able to at least have half of my rent off rip. And it just kind of helped. And so I pretty much left my nice little townhouse and moved to the hood with my new baby daddy. Oh my gosh. That is when coronavirus hit. Around that time, I also had told my dad that I was pregnant. He was more surprised because it's like, how? And so now I'm pregnant and I'm with this guy and I'm living with him in the hood. So man to man, my dad wanted to meet him. He just wanted to know, who is my child, with. Off rip, this is another red flag. The same way that cycle number 2 wanted me to meet his mom quickly. It was quick. Within 2 months, he wanted me to meet his mom. Wasn't the same energy he had about meeting my dad. Even my mom and my granny, they would be on FaceTime, and he would come in the house and I would be like, oh my gosh, they want to see you. And he did not want to meet them. It was always an excuse, or he'd be like, I'm just getting in the house and da-da-da-da. And I remember the first time he did meet them on FaceTime, he was just really kind of, snappy. He didn't want to really do it. And so the same energy with my dad, he didn't want to meet my dad. And off rip, my dad's like, I don't respect him. I don't. So that automatically shifted the energy. It's like, dang, I have a baby coming in this world and you don't like my dad and my dad don't like you. This is uncomfortable. It's COVID. I want to be able to all be one unit. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't work out like that. So one day I actually had my dad on speakerphone and I was trying to show cycle number 2 how cool he was. Dad was like, and where that no good ass nigga at? I wanted to kind of correct it so that cycle number 2 knew that I have his back. Nobody's painting no bad picture of you. You're the only one that can paint a bad picture of you. So I was like, Dad, it's not that. It's just the fact that, I don't even remember what logically my excuse could have been, because now it's like, the nigga act like that and don't want to meet my family. It don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Whatever my logic was. And so me and my dad get to bickering and arguing. because I'm trying to show cycle number 2, I got your back. But then daddy on the phone embarrassing me, and he was not folding. He was like, I don't respect that nigga. When I was 30 years old, I was building a house and I had 2 daughters too. And like he wasn't with it. And how I was looking at it is like, you're judgmental. This is a man that didn't even want to have a baby. And he's stepping up to the plate. We living together during the middle of a pandemic. He taking care of the bills. That was the narrative that cycle number 2 had painted. Like, I'm a man, and he's not gonna disrespect me, and I'm paying these bills. He was gonna have to pay them bills regardless if I was in there or out of there, because I was still paying my bills at my apartment that I wasn't even living at. Even though the girl was paying me, I was still paying for everything else. Those are like some of the red flags that I should have been like, this isn't anything solid for real, you know? So as the pandemic hit, we kind of started to bicker a lot because this was my first pregnancy. He had 2 children already, but this was my first pregnancy. Coronavirus hit. I wanted to be very, very careful. Like, at this time, you thought you was going to die from breathing or touching something, you know? I just wanted structure, first of all, because I knew that, okay, I'm going to be stepmommy. So I wanted to make sure that when my baby came, it didn't take away from her development or her growth. And then I also wanted to make sure she didn't feel replaced. And I also wanted to bring some of my structure into the household because they were kind of just they did whatever. As a woman, you step into that situation and you like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to have a bedtime. And he didn't respect that at all. He used to tell me that I was very masculine and I wasn't feminine enough. It was times where we were looking for a house together during the pandemic, and our budget was $1,400 originally, and we go to the realtor and he's saying stuff like, well, I gotta show her daddy. Let's do, one of the houses was like $1,700, and it was gonna be in my name because he was a felon. So it was like, I was like, no, we're not doing that. And, he would get upset with me and say that I'm masculine and this is why we have issues and stuff like that. It's the middle of a pandemic. I'm being forced to make these impulsive decisions. I want stability. I want structure. This don't feel right, but I'm staying in it because I'm like, I'm stuck, like I don't have no choice. It went from him kind of like celebrating me to kind of him planting doubt in my mind. I was working for my dad part-time as a virtual assistant, and he was like, saying stuff like it's gonna be really hard for me if I don't do hair or work for my daddy. And it went from him showing me admiration to kind of like tearing me down. And so it got me to a point to where I felt like, damn, I really can't leave. It's a pandemic. But then it was times like with the house, when we were looking for a house, I would tell him like, look, we need to, if this not gonna work, you need to let me know because I could just renew my lease. Like, we don't have to get a house together. And he would, come back and be like, no, this is stable and this is what we need to do and so and so and so and so. And then it was times where he would want to leave and I would be like, no, this is, because now I'm sold in my mind that this is stable and this is what we need to do. And this is just a petty little argument. But whenever I was trying to be practical and asking him, is this really where you want to go? We're merging our families together. We're merging our children together. I don't mind struggling. It was times where I would pack up all of my stuff and tell him, I'll sleep in the car. Like, I really don't care. No, you're my pregnant girlfriend and you're not going to do that and da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm going to marry you and this is stability and you know what I'm saying? So it was just like a tug of war. If he wasn't fighting for it, I was. And if I wasn't fighting for it, he was. So mid-pandemic, he started to go out. He wanted to get fresh and go to the studio and stuff like that. And we would get into it constantly because I'm like, you need to sit down. It's a pandemic. I am already high risk. I'm small. I can get it and then I could pass it through my womb. I need you to sit down. And it was just like a power struggle because even though I'm speaking facts, he looking at it like I'm trying to control him. So he started to, spend the night out and, I fell asleep at my uncle's house, or find a reason to go spend the night with his mom at his mom's house and just stuff like that. And that's when I became really, really depressed during my pregnancy because I'm like, what have I gotten myself into? All of those times that my intuition told me to just stay at my house, I ignored it, and now I'm in a situation and I'm so stuck. So after that, you can check out my labor story. My labor was very, very just dramatic and not what I expected. But I, still seen potential because, like I said, he was in there. Like, I'm just thinking that he's kind of immature and he's going to grow out of it. Because, I mean, he was in the hospital. We're coming back for our boy. And I took his daughter to my dad's house for my little sister's birthday, and he's sending me pictures of rings, and he's like, which one do you want? Do you like big diamonds or small diamonds? So even though, he's out sometimes or doing a little bit more and we get into it, it's like this is what he wants and this is what I want, and we have a child together, and his little girl is running around calling me mommy and trying to pick out my wedding dress. And so during my recovery from labor, we got into it because during my labor, my dad was calling, questioning like his position a lot, and he heard some of it, and it was just kind of gaslighting me into feeling like I was wrong for having expectations of him being there and being consistent and spending the night there and not leaving and coming and going and all of that stuff. And so instead of hearing me out, he rather make me feel like I was wrong for expecting that. And it's almost like he wanted me to cut my dad off in general. And the thing that I did need from my dad is for him to be more supportive, meaning I needed him to be more nurturing to me during my process. Instead of being so judgmental in my way or the highway, I just needed him to kind of love me through it. But during my recovery, he did send me to my dad's. He was like, I got stuff to do and I gotta work. And it was like, we're good right now. Like, I need you here to be helping me. I done fought for you my whole pregnancy. I done fought on your behalf. And now you telling my daddy to come get me because you don't want to help me. So when I'm at my dad's, at this point, my dad was really trying to be supportive. But like I said, it was still like his way or the highway. He wanted me to just leave and I wasn't there yet. I think he kind of felt in me that I was unhappy and that I was moving towards that direction. While I'm supposed to be just having a baby and happy, I'm on Facebook and I'm just looking through his pictures, looking through his profile. And I see 7 weeks ago that this girl, she posted, I like you a lot. And so I go to her page and I look and I see him liking her stuff, and he's like, I really, really like you too. And I'm confused, so I text him about it, and automatically he flips and he's like, this is why I don't want to be together. And I'm confused because I'm like, okay, I thought you just sent me to my dad's house because you needed to financially get it together for us, and I was doing too much and being too emotional, and my dad was being an ass, but now you don't want to be with me. And he was like, I know I was wrong because I was talking to her, but that was in the past. So for some reason, I could not shake this girl. He kept her on his social media, and I was so confused because he would defend it and be like, I'm not talking to her, and it was weird. So he kind of went really, really cold turkey on me, and right after the baby, and we had to have this really, really long talk. And I'm not gonna lie, I fought for my relationship because I'm like really still in my mind thinking that he's just really immature. And I'm starting to get mad at my dad because I'm like, you're supposed to be an example to him and show him the expectations, because he ain't never had nobody show him what a father is supposed to do, what's expected, what a man is supposed to be to a woman. And I need you to do that, and you don't want to do that. So it caused a lot of friction between me and my dad, because my daddy like, no, fuck him. Leave. And I'm like, fast forward, we end up getting an apartment together. He sells all of his stuff in his apartment, and we were temporarily living at my townhouse because my lease wasn't up until August. So we moved to another apartment, and that time at the apartment, he kept threatening to like leave me. So at this point, I have everything in this apartment. The apartment was roach infested, so we had to move to like another unit. We got roaches in this apartment. We done moved everything in here. I need help shaking this stuff out. You telling me that you need to breathe and you going to your mama's house, but we're supposed to be in here getting this stuff together so we can move. I remember him leaving and telling me basically, F you, we gonna go our separate way. It is what it is. And I planned to move by myself. I hired some movers, and I was like, whatever I have to spend, I'm gonna spend it, because at this point I have a newborn baby. I'm still technically a month postpartum. I can't do this by myself, so I'm gonna get them to move everything. So I didn't even, it was 2 black boys, and I know they were trying to finesse, because you know they do by the hour. I'm like, just everything. I need help with everything. I can't do this by myself. You know, me and my dad, we weren't really talking. My mom and my granny are thousands of miles away. And then even if we were talking, this was embarrassing, because this is the person that I fought for. This is the person that I tried to sell them on. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't feel comfortable telling anybody that this is what I was going through. Like, he didn't contribute to anything in my pregnancy. I paid for everything, diapers, wipes, everything. He did buy me a breast pump, and I spent about $80 on Amazon that he paid for. But even like moving into the apartment, I paid for the first 2 months just because I wanted to contribute. I didn't qualify for Medicaid or Medicare, whatever it's called. So during my pregnancy, I took on my medical, because I'm like, I can't bond myself with him, and he has financial obligations that he's behind with his other kids. So I allowed him to get caught up with them, so that, you know, my baby wasn't going to, just a lot of shit that I shouldn't have done. I don't even want to talk about it. That day that I was moving everything out of the apartment, he pops up and he just plays as Superman, and I kind of he's like, no, they're not gonna move everything. We're gonna, I'm gonna move this, that. Y'all do this. We not gonna pay y'all all of that. And he tries to move everything here. And I'm confused, because I'm just like, yesterday you told me that we done, you know, and now we're gonna move to this new apartment together. So we moved to the new apartment, and we go to his daughter's, I think it was her 8th birthday. And that night he comes home, he was just crying, and he was like, you know, this is everything, and this is what I wanted. You know, I was able to throw a party for my daughter, and you were there, and we were good. So I'm thinking that we like this again. So in September, my uncle passed away. I bought our tickets to go to Tennessee. Out of the blue, he picked the argument and found a reason not to come. Couldn't get a refund. And me and my newborn baby are in the airport during coronavirus trying to move around. So I go there, and the whole time I can't even focus on the funeral, because we're going back and forth. He telling me that, you know, he don't know what we're gonna be, but he doesn't want to take this beautiful apartment away from his daughters, and, you know, whatever we're gonna do, we just need like a little bit of space, and you know, stuff like that. It was just a roller coaster. Every time we would be good, 3 days later we would be bad, but like to the bad of point of no return type of bad. It threw me off, because I'm like, this whole pregnancy I've been asking you, before making all of these major decisions, like living with each other, is this what you wanted to do? Like, as soon as I found out that I was pregnant, before we even moved in with each other, I told him I will do this by myself. But you fought for me, and you told me this is what you wanted, and sending the pictures of rings, and, you know, all of these ideas that I married, even though his actions weren't lining up with it. It's just, my mind is like, that's what he means. He's just not mature enough. He just didn't have a father figure. And then my dad, you know, ruined everything. Just pointing fingers at everything but what it was. You know what I'm saying? Later on that month, I come back. He helps me move into a suite, because he doesn't want me doing hair in the house anymore. He doesn't like hair. So I take on the expense of a suite. During the pandemic, it kind of took off, and he started his own business, and, you know, he really became profitable. Mind you, I'm taking on all of my baby's responsibilities, because I convinced myself he already had 2 kids, and, you know, I need to help him get on his feet. And we made an agreement to where, once he get where he needed to get, he was going to help more, and he was going to do more. And, you know, being that he was paying the rent and for the groceries, that I should pretty much suck it up. But I mean, the rent and the groceries equals the childcare and the suite that I had to go get, and I paid all the other bills, you know? So it was just kind of like, And I just feel like as a man, anywhere you go, you have a daughter that lives in the house, and then another newborn baby, and you don't pay child support or for medical or anything, like you're gonna pay for the apartment and the groceries. The same month that he didn't go to Tennessee with me, later that month he tells me that he needed to go to LA. He had some business to do. He comes back from that vacation and he's like, when after going there, it really changed my mindset about things. We're gonna do things differently, and I gotta be in grind mode. We're gonna be in monk mode. And mind you, I have been in monk mode. I really let myself go during my pregnancy, because it went from him like praising me to like really judging me, and you do hair out the house and it's gonna be difficult, and you need to trying to get me from what I was so comfortable in and making a really good income in. He wanted me to become a teacher, and his mom was a sub, and he wanted me to be a sub, and just pretty much making me feel like my accomplishments weren't anything. And then I'm this masculine female, so it really took away from my confidence. And then it's a pandemic, so I'm not getting dressed every day, and we're supposed to be in monk mode anyway. So it's like I really let myself go, because he looking at my finances versus his finances. I'm taking on all of these responsibilities so he can get caught up with his finances, and he just stacking. And I got us at the end of the day, and you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at his Instagram one day, and I see that when he was in LA, like I see a phone in the very, how we be zooming into the pictures. I see a phone, and I'm like, who is that? Who did you go to dinner with? You came back telling me that we need to go there together, and your mindset is totally changed about life, and it looks like you were with a female, aspiring rapper. He said that he was with her, and I believed it because I do remember him having a phone consultation with her. So I didn't trip about it, and I let it go. Reflecting on it, it just shows me how unhealed I was to stay in this situation, how much self-love I lacked, how much codependency played a part in the decisions that I was making. And during this time, I'm not even really thinking about my baby. I'm thinking about, how do I keep his children involved? Everything was about him. And I have a newborn baby that I was supposed to be focused on and loving and spending time with. This ain't even led up to when I went, look, November hit, and that is when everything is pretty much, it's okay. We're living as a family. So I got rid of a lot of my stuff. And we got furniture together that was more masculine. I don't know, maybe it's short man syndrome. That's what Mia Chanel was talking about. But yeah, because everything that I think about now was like masculine versus feminine, and listening versus not. And I don't know. When December came is when I was just kind of over the up and down. I was tired of riding around in the car all the time, talking and venting, and feeling like I couldn't say anything to his daughter. Like, I had a newborn baby, so I wanted structure, and it felt like to actually have that structure, the only time I could really enforce it was when he was gone for hours, because she was under my wing, and he would leave her with me all the time. So, or, he would leave her not just with me, he would leave her with his mom as well. But most of the time, she would be with me. Wherever I went, she went. I treated her like my child. It was just forced at this point. And I would tell him often, like, I'm not your roommate. I don't want to be roommates. If that's the case, then we need to be making accommodations to where you can get your own space and I can have my own space, and we can move forward, Because we only signed a 6-month lease at this time. So I'm like, before we renew the lease, let's be practical. And he's telling me like, no, this is where we're going to stay. So the day before, I had to go to work, and we made an agreement that I would be home at 2. My client comes, she brings the wrong type of closure. So I have to wait for her to go to the beauty supply, get the right closure, come back, and it probably pushed me back about an hour. So I come in and I automatically get upset because it's trash at the door still. I told him that they sent out a notice saying that they were going to start finding us for leaving our trash at the door. We need to take it to the trash can. Basically, I came in and I had an attitude because it's just like, damn, you at home all day. You watch your daughter, but you won't watch our baby together because she's too young, and I'm paying for her sitter. I'm working, rushing back so you can go to the doctor, and it's damn trash at the door. And so I kind of slammed the door, and I come in, and he was like, it's cool, we're not even gonna be here long anyway. I can't do this shit no more. And he leaves me with his daughter, and he just leaves. And so I'm like, okay. So he leaves. I'm calling to check on him, sending him these long paragraph messages because, like I said, he would make me feel like my reaction, which, you know, my reaction is a problem, but nigga, at this point, you're a problem. It was just crazy. And even though he paid the rent, he would still pay the rent, but then it would be like, I got 1,000, can you pay the other 200? And it's like, damn, I didn't expect to have to spend 200 on the rent plus everything that I'm taking on my end so that you get caught up with everything that you need to get caught up on. So later that night, after me not hearing from him, he sends me a picture of his hospital bracelet, no details on what hospital he's at, what's going on. You know, I'm thinking he just went to the ER for a tooth. I'm not thinking it's going to be a hospital bracelet or anything. And then, you know, I can't sleep. I got his daughter. I don't know if something happened. It's COVID. Like, I don't know anything. I'm confused at this point because I'm like, what the hell? He texts me later and he's like, everything's fine. And I'm calling him, he's not answering the phone. At that point is when I started really being like, this relationship done. This shit is stupid. I'm tired of playing these fucking games. I'm tired of going through this drama. I'm tired of showing up and showing out for him and worried about this shit all day. And it's not going nowhere. This is not going anywhere. So the next morning when he tried to leave, I ran out my room and I was like, me and Reagan, we gotta go somewhere. At this point, I didn't know because my lease was up within like 2 months. Mind you, my name is on everything. I don't know if I want to go to Memphis and move with my mama. I don't know if I want to go back to the old apartments that I was in and get my own 1-bedroom apartment, you know, because I knew that I could do it on my own. My baby has never been a problem expense-wise, and I've done it by myself pretty much since she's gotten here. Besides, like I said, he paid the rent and the groceries. Yeah, but him planting that fear in me that it will be hard, you know, I'm just thinking, damn, I can go with my mama, you know. But I'm getting serious now because time is ticking, and I'm not gonna let you gaslight me into making decisions that, you know, I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment, me and my baby could be stacking up, or I could send my baby with my mama for a month or so and get on my feet. Like, nah, we not gonna do this. He was like, oh, you really messed up now. We over. Because I told him I wasn't going to watch her. Like, you take her to your mom's. Like, his mom was so hell-bent on letting me know. Well, I got his daughter, but it was never anybody having Reagan. And it was like, I'm tired of it. I'm doing all of this for my baby alone, going through all of this postpartum. I'm thinking it's postpartum, but it's really gaslighting, manipulation, plus my hormones. I'm still breastfeeding, so my hormones are heavy. Like, you know, but I'm just calling it postpartum. So that day I lost it. I threw all of his stuff out the closet. I threw it all up here. I'm like, F this. Like, you're not gonna gaslight me no more. This is the reactive abuse. Like, I'm sick of it. You telling me that you really done with me because I'm done with this BS. I'm tired of playing these games. Like, I'm sick of it. So I threw everything. I'm throwing stuff. Get the hell out. I don't care. Like, this has to stop. And if I don't do it, then you're not gonna do it, because all you're gonna do is come in 2 days. You're gonna go MIA, come back 2 days later and bring groceries and my favorite food, and everything's gonna be good for 3 more days, and then we're gonna be right back in this. Like, I'm sick of this shit. So that's where I was, and I threw everything, and I told his daughter, go to your room, or y'all go outside, because at the end of the day, I'm not living like this no more. It's uncomfortable. I want to focus on my baby. She deserves all of me. This is not, I'm going crazy. And he's recording me, which is something that a narcissist does, ignoring everything that caused me to come to this point. But he's recording me and look at her and this is what she's doing and da 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 da. Instead of you saying, okay, this bitch crazy, I'm gonna leave, you sitting on the couch recording me and Mama Kiki's going crazy. I didn't put my hands on him, but I was throwing stuff and I could not take it no more. And I guess he leaves his keys in here, but by that time I had already locked the door and he's trying to come back in. And I'm like, no, like whatever you left in here is stuck. Cause I mean, it's stuff everywhere. And he wasn't finna come back in this apartment with my name on it, to either come love bomb me or whatever his intention was. I was over it at this point, so I did not care. Even though I was telling him that I wasn't gonna get his keys, I am panicking trying to look for them. It was just a lot of stuff, and then my nerves are bad because I'm like, I can't believe I took it to this point. Like, I cannot believe this. Like, you know, he kicks the door in, literally, boom, the door is down, and I'm like, well, it's not down, but the whole rim of the door, like, even if you look at it now, it's still my apartments, they had to come and fix it, but it's still like a little line of where the foundation was ruined, you know. And at this point, my mom is pissed, and she like called the police. I had to call the police anyway to get my apartments to fix everything without them like evicting me and stuff. I had to or charging me for the damage, so I had to make a police report. But even in that, I wasn't being bitter. I told the police, he does live here, his stuff is here. I said, I don't want anybody to necessarily get in trouble. However, I wasn't willing to let him in, and he just wanted to get in, so that's why he kicked the door down. So it wasn't any like real complications. It just documented everything. I was able to show my apartments and then get out the situation. So his mom ended up coming to get majority of his things, and my friend was here, and she was telling us stuff like, this remind me of a Mimi. I'm helping you clean up all this stuff, and he gonna be back over here by I was in my mind thinking, no lady, like it's over. Like, this is for real. Like, he's getting his stuff and he's leaving. Like, and I kept telling her that, like, no, like, this is serious. So when he's gone, we didn't talk or anything. I didn't withhold his stuff. I took down certain paintings and I gave them to him. I didn't want to be petty. Like, regardless if we work or if we don't, we went in on half of this stuff. Even though I gave away most of my stuff, we went in on half of this stuff. You take half, I take half. I keep the bed, you can take their bunk beds, take all of this stuff. I lost it. I checked myself into the hospital for a little bit. I told myself that it was postpartum and I wanted them to just evaluate me. I felt like I was going crazy. I felt like I was valid, and I felt like I had been through enough, and I felt like everything that I had built was just like crumbling, you know? So I asked my mama, could she go to the ER with me? And I just wanted them to just look at me and tell me that you're not crazy. It's your hormones or something. I wanted to know that I was fine, because I felt like not normal. I felt like not okay. And so that day, the next day, he comes and he picks up his stuff. He pops up with his brother, and I'm in the room, and I'm just like, I don't want to facilitate. Y'all just handle it, help them. You know, my mom and my granny weren't nasty or bitter today. He took everything out of that room, and they had to clean up. He didn't help clean up anything. He had mounted TVs that I told him originally, like, with us being unstable, you don't have to mount those TVs in the wall, because the way that he did it is big holes in the wall. He didn't fix the holes. I asked him, I was like, well, at least before you leave, can you fix the holes in the wall? Oh, well, I left the middle piece, and you could just get somebody to come and do it. So he left, and that was that. When he was leaving, my mom asked him, you know, I know you and Kiana aren't necessarily on speaking terms right now, but what are your plans for Reagan? And he said, tell her take it through the court. And my mom, just being who she is, she said, that's a bitch move. But he took it as she called him a bitch, and that wasn't what she said. That's a bitch move, because she's expecting, like, y'all here, I'm helping while they moving stuff out. They asking, do they need help doing anything? So we're all being adults about it. And then you tell her something like, take it up with the court. And then, you know, all the girls had initials on the wall. He takes his other two daughters' initials and leave Reagan's initials on the floor. You know, just doing little stuff like that. Like, making it seem like because we're not together, Reagan is no longer significant to him. And that's when I made the channel. And I was like, y'all, I'm going through it and I'm going to be transparent during the process, because that is when I wanted to hold myself accountable and say, you know, once I tell all of this stuff, I'm not going to go back. I can't inspire people and be transparent during the process just to go back. So let me make a footprint online publicly to hold myself accountable. That is when I made the channel. Within probably 2 weeks tops, Reagan went with my mom and my granny, and I was like, I'm gonna just go full throttle. It was just strategy at this time. So my first strategy was to send Reagan with my mom, which I really didn't want to do because at this time she was only like 6 or 7 months. But I sent her with my mom, I told my mom no longer than 4 weeks. You know, a lot of people get dependent on their parents and stuff like that. I didn't want to do that. She's my baby. She's supposed to be with me. She's my responsibility. I'm going to do it, but I need some time to get my money together. I needed to get my mind right and to see, do I want to keep this weed? Do I want to get rid of it? Like, I needed to really make big girl decisions. 2 weeks in, he's sending me text messages and he's like, you know, I want to see my baby. And I didn't tell him she was with my mom because I wasn't talking to him. The first time that he left, I wasn't going to do child support. Like, literally, like, I was on some, you can sign over your rights and I'll just do it. You know, I'll do it. So he's like, I want to see Reagan. And I'm like, you know, she's with my mom. He's thinking that they're still here. Like, and he's like, okay, well, whenever she's not with your mom. And I'm like, no, like, she's out of state with my mom. And he's like, well, I wish that you would just tell me going forward where she's going to be at. And, you know, do you want me to buy you a ticket to go and see her for Christmas, for the holidays, because Christmas was coming up. We don't have to do none of that. It's fine. So then, you know, he's texting me and he's like, why did you have to bring this to the point of no return? And I'm thinking, nigga, we just went through all of this. But I'm still, you know, in love with him. So I texted him and I was embarrassed about going to the hospital. I at this point, I thought it was something wrong with me. I thought I was emotionally unstable. And I was, because it was so much manipulation and confusion. I was still in that unhealed mindset. I apologize. And at this point, we're getting cordial because I wasn't gonna talk to him at all. Like, what I'm on right now is what I was gonna be on then, and it was just because I knew it was so much manipulation. And to move forward with somebody like that, co-parenting wise, you have to cut that. But I wasn't ready to do it yet. So I invited him over for dinner just so we could talk, because at this point I want to know, are we going to co-parent? Are we going to do this? And the first thing that he said when he came over was, you ruined my life. And he comes in looking in the refrigerator, and I didn't really have groceries, because I ain't gonna lie, like, I was going out with my best friends. You look at my intro video, I was talking about how distracted I was trying to start my YouTube because they were here. I wasn't putting no money in the refrigerator because I was putting money in the bar. My baby wasn't here. I was able to, like, start my little healing process and move around, and the same people that I cut off for so long, I'm surrounding myself with them again. I'm able to freely move, and I'm not moving like at first. It was like I would be moving, but then I would be trying to hurry up and come home to see, is he gonna be here? I was just free. So he was just, oh yeah, it's gonna be hard for you, and you know that we were so much stronger together, and this, that, and the third. And you know, he started telling me about his daughter and how it really messed her up to see all of that. And you know, now I'm crying because I'm like, you know, that was never my intention, because I love, still to this day, I love that little girl. Like, just let me talk to her. And he's like, I don't think that we should go there yet, you know. And he was like, it's gonna really take me some time. And then, you know, it goes for me just like feeling bad. And I'm like, within 2 days, he invites me to come and see his daughter. He's like, we're gonna go to Texas Roadhouse. I'm not paying for nothing though. Like, he made it seem like I ruined his life, like he didn't have anything. So I'm like, okay, I messed up. Okay. So we go to dinner, and then we go to his mom's house, and we all sleeping in the same bed, and he's just like, I hate it here, and this, that, and the third. But y'all listen to the full story. This is a long ass story, but listen to the full story. So he's like, I hate it here, and we sleeping in this bed, and her boyfriend is steadily coming in here. We don't have Wi-Fi. And so I'm really thinking like he thugging it out. His mom, when I came over there the first time, she wanted me to leave, but she didn't know who I was. I had bought a brand new car, y'all. I bought a brand new car. Like, I was really like, I wasn't struggling. He ended up getting mad at his mom one day. Well, his mom was basically like, whoever car that is in the driveway needs to go home, because she thought I was like a random. And then the next day he texted me and was like, no, she thought you were a random. She doesn't mind if you come over, you know, and stuff like that. And then his mom texted me and was like, you know, I'm just letting y'all figure it out on your own. I'm not taking sides or anything. My main concern is Reagan is alive, because nobody's ever concerned about my baby. He ended up that quick moving back in. He was like, this is home. This is where I want to be. 3 days after he moved in, I get a text message from this number. Judge yo damn mama. Y'all remember the girl that shortly after my labor, I seen that he was talking to? I'm not thinking it's another girl, because I just went and laid over at his mama house, and his mama, he's so uncomfortable, this, that, and the third. Why does I get a text from the girl, and the girl is, I think he was like at the studio or something. Mind you, he just moved everything back in. The girl is like, let me tell you how he has been playing us both. I've been talking to him since April. Mind you, in April, one of his friends got in a car accident. He sent me pictures in the hospital. He was in the COVID unit, taking pictures, showing me where he was. Why was he there with that girl? He was there with the girl, taking pictures of half of her mouth to show me, like, literally the deception. So anyway, she's sending me, you know, and in September, he took me to LA for my birthday. Oh, and my daddy is a preacher, so I know that we have a lot in common, and I just wanted you to let you know, because our children are gonna have the same dad. And she sent me a pregnancy test. When you kicked him out, he moved all of his stuff over from there over here. And I got to meet his daughters too. So he took his babies over there. He moved all the stuff that we got together that I kindly split in half with him over to her house. I talked to the girl. I've never been the type to charge up a woman. It's like the way that she came at me was to hurt me. I call him and I'm like, cycle number 2. Who is this? What is going on? I'm so confused, because literally, like, he sold me on not talking to this girl, not affiliating with her. They finally had deleted each other off of Facebook. So I'm just like, what the hell is this? You know, he comes back and he's like, Kiana, I have a whole illegitimate child on the way, and da-da-da-da-da, and it was a mistake, and this, that, and the third, and she's gonna be a problem, and this, and ha. And Unhealed Me is like, what do I do? Send him back to her? And then he gets to go take care of her and her baby and leave me and mine alone after he done came back and promised to love me right and do this, and all of his stuff is back in here and everybody think we back together. Like, I'm supposed to send him back there? And then she tried to hurt me. She didn't hit me up on no less teamwork, like we're gonna be baby mama sisters, like what you know, letting me know the truth about things. She hit me up just, he took me to LA and he did this and he did that, and by the way, I'm pregnant, and this, that, and the third. So it was just like, Unhealed Me was like, I asked him multiple times. I said, cycle number 2, is this what you want? And he said, Kiana, I don't want to be there. I want to be here. He was like, remember when I used to be sleeping on the couch, and when I used to be in there yelling, because he used to be like, fuck, just out the blue. He was like, it was because I was in so deep and I didn't know how to get out. And I was like, are you committing to being in this relationship with me and doing this with me for real? Or are you going to do this for 2 weeks, and then after you're expected to do everything that you say that you're going to do right now, flip out on me and make me feel like I'm wrong for accepting it. And he was like, see, why do you have to, you're manifesting that. Why do you have to even say that this is where I want to be and this, that, and the third. So he's smelling himself after this, because I'm like, you know, I'm going through it, mind you. Like, I'm trying to cry when he's not around. I'm trying to make him feel like, you know, not everything is fine, but that gonna give him the opportunity to prove himself without steadily bringing it up. For the first couple of weeks, he's like, I'm gonna share my location with you. This is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do this. And he really was present. And it changes from you're gonna share your location to you're gonna send me your current location when you get to where you're going. And then like one night, he didn't come home, and he said that he was at the studio. So I picked me and my, at this point, 7-month-old up in the middle of the night, and we go to the studio, and guess what? He's not there. And after I'm seeing, okay, this is exactly what it is, I started to try to still not get rid of him, because it was still me being unhealed, and I'm not going to send him back to her. But it was a lot of stuff that my conscience was challenging me about. So I lost it one night, because it was like he told me that she was gonna get an abortion. Mind you, I don't believe in abortions at all. And I told him, I said, it's crazy how I don't believe in it, but now it's okay because it benefits me. And then I'm around here thinking like, you know, I am looking at her Instagram and stuff, and I see that she doesn't want to be here anymore. And it reminded me so much of where I was when I lost my mom the first time. So I'm just like concerned about her. And I'm like, you know, this is still your child's mom. Like we have to do something. Like at the end of the day, if this is where you want to be and you made this decision, we need to be planning. Like, what if she doesn't get an abortion? Why is it okay for it to be an abortion now? And this is something that I don't agree with. Like, I really started, like, my spirit really started to challenge me, like, this isn't right. And I'm telling him, like, you know, the snowstorm hit Houston. That was the day that she was supposed to get the abortion. But long story short, I did lose it again. And because he stopped coming home, he was like, you're doing too much and you're expecting too much of me. And I'm like, this is just what I asked you. When you said this is where you were going to be, and you were going to be here doing what you were supposed to be doing and helping me with Reagan more and, you know, all of this type of stuff. Like, and I didn't know that I was pregnant at this time. Like, I didn't know that I had conceived, you know? So I'm just like, well, I had just weaned myself off of breastfeeding. I didn't know that I had conceived again. So it's just like, I thought I was going crazy again, you know? Like, you're mad at me for having expectations that you said that you would meet. We talked about this. We committed to this. And so I go to the ER again. It was just ugly. You know, he's calling me and he's like, she's going to get an abortion. And I'm like, that don't make me feel no better. Like, this whole situation is crazy. And the fact that I stayed, like, this is just, I can't believe it, you know? And I'm trying to heal, but while he's still here. So I'm saging and I'm looking at TikToks, and this is when I found out about domestic violence and how it doesn't have to necessarily be physical. I started to call domestic abuse hotlines and stuff like that, and vent and talk to them, and to feel, you know, to know that I wasn't crazy, and to know that this was an actual problem and I was being manipulated, you know, and to try to seek legal advice on what were my options, you know, like as far as what I needed to do. And I'm, you know, in the house saging and cleaning, and he's like, I can't be here while you're doing this. I'm listening to Janae Aiku, and I can't be here while you're doing this. I remember one day I was listening to a pastor, and he was basically talking about how you have to actually separate yourself from people. Like, you know, it was just so much confirmation that was coming to me that this was not going to work. And so I'm listening to it, and I'm doing it while he's here though, you know, and he's like, well, you know, you can't do that. You can't, basically I can't heal because he's my child's father. And I would tell him, I'm going to, period. You know, like, and it's like he began to not be able to stand me. You know, I started to speak up for what I wanted. I was telling him, you need to be here for Reagan. And he's like, if you send me another text about this, I'm gonna blow my brains out. And it was just like more and more validation that this ish is crazy. Like, this is not normal. You are going to go crazy in this situation. He started to send me videos of couples shooting each other. I'm very like emotional. I cannot take stuff like that. Why was he sending me pictures of this type of stuff? It's almost like he wanted me to go crazy. And then I start thinking of stuff, and I think of how he painted his other baby's moms, you know? I just didn't like the energy. Like, he was kissing all on Reagan, and he, you know, texted me because I spent the night out. That was my first time ever spending a night out. And he was like, I hope you guys are okay. I ran home last night so that I could be home and we can watch a movie and, you know, that type of stuff. But at this point, I was over it. I was like, he don't respect me. He don't love my daughter. Like, I really felt like he did not love my baby. He was ignoring the structure that I wanted for my child. I wanted her to be in an environment to where it wasn't tense and mommy was happy. And he wouldn't even let me go to do that. And it was like, I still wasn't in the position to let him go, you know? So I couldn't keep lying to myself no more. It is what it is. Like, then he was like, I've been recording you and documenting things and just all types of stuff. And it was so vivid to me who he was when we got back together, telling his mom that we were engaged. Like, he didn't get on his knee for me. He just said he don't want to die alone. And he just said a whole lot of stuff that he knew I wanted to hear. How he's done this to all of his other baby mamas, and he knows that it's him and he's healing, and he said what I wanted to hear. And it's like I woke up to it. The week that he left, I took a pregnancy test, and that is when I found out that I was pregnant. And so I did, like, originally, even though I had initiated the healing process, it was like the hopes that he's gonna get it together, you know? And he was sending me messages and emails because I blocked him. I didn't want him to manipulate me again. And can I pay for a ticket to go to, you know, can I send you money? I blocked him on Cash App. I blocked him on PayPal. I blocked him on everything because regardless of what I was feeling and still felt for him, I did not want to be fooled again. And I knew where my heart was for him, so I had to. And he was like, you know, I was being petty and bitter, but no, that's how he would get back in. He started sending me pictures. I still love this girl. He sent me audio messages. I'm so sorry that I abandoned you guys, and I know I'm going to hell. And I kept telling him I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about our kids. For probably about a month or so, I was still going to their Facebooks and Instagrams. I don't do it anymore. I don't want to see. I don't want to know. I don't care to know. The week that he left, she was posting that I love who I'm with and this, that, and the third. So he went right back over there. So every time he reached out about us, my spirit literally would not let me do it. I put up all those boundaries. I told him, I don't want you to send me any money. I want to go to court. And then whatever, even if you go and you hide how much you really make, whatever they say that you gotta pay, that's what you gotta pay. At least I know my babies will have medical insurance. That is my biggest concern. It's a fucking pandemic. And that should be his biggest concern. But all of the, I'm gonna send you $500 a month, and no, I don't want all of these commitments. You've proven that you don't stick to what you said that you're gonna stick to. So it started off with love bombing, and now it's, I don't want to do this with you again. I can't believe that we have to do this again. You want to ruin me. And it's just like, that is why I have been so literal about my healing, That is why I have been so transparent about my healing, because I can never go back. And even with all of this, I might not like him very much, but I want him to be in his children's lives only if he cannot try to manipulate me in the process, or manipulate his title in the process, or hurt my babies in the process. As stupid as I may sound, all of this was needed. You cannot make anybody get over something, or you can't make anybody just get out of something. All of this stuff was happening, and I stayed, and I stayed, and I stayed. I even allowed myself to feel like I was crazy, and stayed, and stayed. It took everything to happen how it happened. And it took me to spiritually connect, because there is a reason I've been so firm with my boundaries. There is a reason. A lot of people be like, girl, you need to let him send you some money. No, ma'am. We do everything documented through the court. Then, because I don't give you the response that you want to, you go MIA on my baby, and then you come back with some CPS stuff. At the end of the day, my peace is everything. And talking about this stuff and going over this story, you can't play. You cannot play with these type of people. I guess the reason why this is under mental health as well is because sometimes your mental health it's not a you thing. It's the people that you're surrounded and allowing access to you. That's why I'm big on energy, like really sitting and assessing where I am, really sitting and assessing what allowed me to accept that type of behavior, really sitting and assessing and thinking about why I would go against my intuition so much. Really sitting back and assessing these things was needed. Really disconnecting from other people, because other people would have had me out here trying to date other people. A lot of people was like, girl, you could date while you pregnant. If I accepted all of this just less than a year ago, I don't need to be damn dating. Like, it is so literal, your healing and guarding your heart, even if it's a little bit of financially uncomfortable. I done took on I tell him, you can do whatever for Reagan, period. But I don't need cash. If you want to buy her clothes, you buy her clothes. If you want to buy her toys, you buy her toys. That's your relationship. But sending me stuff, no. Whatever you gonna send me can be through the court. It's going to be documented. It's going to be established. It's going to be consistent. You're not going to get me used to something and then take it away. And I can't. I'm not rich. Like, I'm not subjecting myself to none of that emotional abuse, none of the broken promises in a relationship or out of a relationship. I'm so proud of myself for not folding. And I know that a lot of people will probably look at this and be like, she is damn stupid. That's okay. It's okay that you feel that way. I was really unhealed. I was really codependent. I was really stuck on an image. I was really looking for love. And now I know the importance of loving myself. Now I know the importance of, it's still healing that I need to do. But as far as the damage and the time that I've missed, like, that I should have been embracing my baby, and I was so focused on this and thinking that I was going crazy, and like, that is what hurts the most. That's what hurts, I was really led to share this today. I was really led to, I really appreciate Mia for posting her story. I just want y'all to know that everything that you see, because looking at me, you wouldn't be able to tell that all of this stuff has went on. Looking at me, the way that you try to save face for people and really be unhappy. Like, I really look back at some of the notes in my phone. It was messages that I wanted to send to him talking about how this isn't gonna work and this isn't really, neither one of us are happy, and really typing them but not sending them because I didn't want to be drama or too masculine or take stability away from him. Like, just being in a place to where I know that I'm valid, being in a place to where I know I must protect myself, being in a place for knowing that I'm not wrong for protecting myself. It's just so much manipulation and mind games, and it's like trying to be a co-parent with somebody that first has hurt you, and you know their tactics and they way of their love language. So protecting yourself from the BS, and then still being mature enough. And I really think that I've been mature enough, because mind you, even though all of this went on, anytime he's texted to see his baby, he can see his baby, but except this last month. Because now that the CPS stuff is surfacing, and I know that I am valid, and I know that shit is crazy and manipulation is going on, and guarding my heart and my baby heart, and I have a baby due next month. Like, I know all of this, and I deserve at least to have a month of my pregnancy I'm not being gaslighted or manipulated or talked about. I don't have to subject myself to that. Like, you can only do so much when it comes to this co-parenting stuff. These mamas are enablers a lot of the time, and because they went through certain things, they feel like you're supposed to suck it up and go through those same things, and they fill up their sons' minds by telling them that they're valid. But I'm telling my own damn self that I'm valid. I'm telling my own damn self that I was not healed, but I will heal peacefully, and I don't have to subject myself to any of that. I wanted to share my story. I'm happy that I shared my story. I'm happy that I got to release. I should have had the windows open and some sage going, because I'll probably do that tonight. But I definitely deserve to release all of this, and I'm so proud of myself for finally having the courage to talk about it without giving a damn what anybody thinks. Because remember, if I get 1 view or 30 views, like, it is somebody that needs to see this. I want the girl that feels like she has to stay in that type of relationship to know that no, you do not. I want the girl that is going through all of this stuff right now and is scared to, because a lot of times we want to hold it in and not tell anybody because we know we're going to be held accountable for leaving. Baby, it's time to be real with yourself, because if you don't fix it now, you're going to have to fix it later. It doesn't get better. If he's not doing it now, he's not going to do it later. And 9 times out of 10, if he will do it later, it's because you separated and you showed him what was real. Some men are mature enough to change, but you have to separate yourself from that energy and make sure that you're not ruining yourself during that process. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to inspire and motivate and encourage you to break the cycle. I want you to know that whatever you see, your children see. His mom used to say, oh, well, Reagan's so young, she don't. Babies feel it from the womb. You deserve to set yourself free. You deserve to let yourself know that you are valid. It is okay to leave. It is okay to separate yourself from that energy. It is okay to heal. And it is impossible to heal in an environment that is catastrophic like that. You have to separate yourself. No matter how painful, no matter how embarrassing, no matter how scary, especially if you have children. Especially if it's physical abuse. In my situation, it wasn't physical abuse. If it's physical abuse, you can die. You know? Even in this situation, it's almost like he wanted me to kill myself, literally. He showed me the most love when I was walking around going crazy. It's almost like he liked it. We had the longest conversations and transparent conversations when I was walking around here crying. You know? Sending me pictures of couples killing each other. Like, it was a actual deranged mental game in the most subtle ways, in the most obvious ways, whatever. So protect yourself, guard your peace. Whatever your intuition is telling you, 9 times out of 10, it is real. And I know it's not easy. You might watch this video and it might take you 6 months to be like, damn, okay. But hopefully this plants a seed or waters a seed, and it gets you to move. It is so important to hold yourself accountable, document things, talk to people. You know what I'm saying? The more that you talk to people, like, I know that I can't come on here being transparent during the process, motivating people to do the same, and then go back to nothing like that. I will never go back. It's important for me to say it. It's important for me to document it. It's important for me to tell other people so that, you know, they can hold me accountable. Not that other people can tell me what to do and control me, but after you say these things and speak these things and hear how crazy it sounds and what you dealt with and see other people's reactions and how it's not normal, like, well, not saying that it's not normal, like it doesn't occur, but it's not normal, like it shouldn't occur. And I'm just so grateful to God for change. I'm so grateful to God for pointing stuff out to me. I'm so grateful for God just carrying me through all of this. It was not easy. I've cried this whole pregnancy. I've been able to focus on my womb. I've been doing my eyebrows fleeky, posting content every day, going hard with business. Like, there's so much stuff. We be in these relationships and we don't see a way out, but there's so much life outside of what you're in. But sometimes we so close to the picture, and it takes us to hold ourselves accountable because other people can see stuff that we cannot. It's so important to turn off the damn TV. All of this stuff that they normalize, these toxic relationships, and oh, my husband turned out to be gay and cheaters and niggas gonna cheat. No, it is a man out here. Like, I never want to post this stuff and make y'all think that I'm a victim. I'm posting it to be transparent because I know I will not always be where I am. Just like 9 months ago, I was in a totally different mindset. I just want to document it. So whoever do need to see this, they can go back when I'm big and popping and doing my thing. They can go back and be like, damn, okay. Because everybody loves to show you the shiny picture after the healing. I've been doing it during the process. Okay? Period. So, yeah, I hope this edifies somebody. I hope this touches somebody. I hope this activates you to move for you and your babies. Even if you're single, this still applies. You do not have to subject yourself to certain energies. If you feel like you're not financially stable enough, let's make a way. Okay? To separate yourself from certain energies. There's all type of systems out here. The domestic violence hotline is real. They will answer your phone calls. They will let you cry it out. They will talk to you. I talked to them people for an hour when the first week that he left, and that is who really showed me that this is real. You have to get out. They don't sit up there and, you know, your friends, they know how you feel about the person, and they tell you to, you know, oh, it'll get better, or maybe this, or maybe no. Them domestic violence people, they talk to people that have died or killed themselves or whatever, and they're gonna help you find a solution to get out. And whatever you're in, whether it's a shelter, whether it's a legal aid, whatever it may be, but do not suffer in silence. You are not alone. You are not a dummy. You are not any of that. You are human. You are probably a little bit codependent. You are probably just a little bit of an empath too, but those are all, besides codependency, those are all great traits. You have probably a big heart or a small support system, and you feel like you need that, but you don't have to subject yourself to that. There is a man that will love you. There is a man that will respect you. There is a man that will value you. Love does not have to hurt. Yes, some of these older people will tell you that they went through this and dude had a baby. You don't have to do that. And if your body and your mind is showing you that you're not strong enough for that type of situation, exit stage love. But that is all I have for you guys today. And I feel so free. Oh my gosh. And then if you notice in the beginning of the video, it started with one cycle and then I went into another one. If you do not heal completely, you will end up in another cycle. I don't mean to speak that over your life, but it's true. You have to really heal. You have to separate yourself.